Hi everyone, it's Talia from Zart Art, and today we're going to be creating an Impressionist appropriated artwork. So for our Impressionist appropriation, we're going to be focusing on the style of Impressionism. So Impressionism was formed in France in the 1860s, and it has a focus on light and colour and really being in the moment. We'll also be focusing on appropriation. So appropriation in art is the use of a pre-existing object or image and it being modified or changed slightly to create a new artwork. So in this case, we'll be using our Impressionist pattern papers as a basis to create our appropriated work, and we'll be looking at some of the paintings by Claude Monet and what he did to create his paintings, what kind of style he used, and then creating an image onto our Impressionist paper that resembles one of the works of Monet. So here we have all of our different Impressionist papers. As you can see, they are fairly different, but they have those really lovely, strong, thick brush strokes. So I'm going to go through some of my pattern papers, and I'm going to choose which ones I want to work with. So I think I'll create two drawings for this project. So this one really reminds me of Monet's lilies, so I'm going to choose that one to create one of my appropriations. And I think I'll create a bit of a sea scene. So this one looks like one of the backgrounds to me of one of Monet's paintings on a seascape. So I think I'll use these two pattern papers. And if you are working with a similar kind of pattern paper, then you can try and match it to Monet's work. So have a look at his different works, research what he's done, and see if you can find the similarities between some of his paintings and some of the pattern papers. Otherwise, what you could do as well is create some of your own pattern papers as a class, looking at that Impressionist aesthetic, and then you can copy those and reprint them, and then the class can choose which papers they want to use as a basis to create their drawings. So I'm going to be working with this Impressionist paper first, which resembles Monet's lilies. So you might want to have a look at his painting of some of his lilies to recreate onto this paper. So what I will do is use Supermix. So Supermix is like an oil pastel. It's just smoother and easy to blend. And I'm going to draw some of those lilies over the top of my paper. Now, as you're drawing, you do want to make sure that you're keeping that Impressionist aesthetic in mind. So you want to have some really nice blending colour, some thick textural strokes as you're drawing with your oil pastels. So make sure you incorporate that into your work. So as you're drawing, make sure that you're working in layers so you can work on colours over colours, and the Supermix is really great for going back in and blending some of those colours together. But if you like a bit of a different look where you can see that pastel straight over the top and incorporating some of that texture, you don't have to blend that in. If you're working with oil pastels, then you might have to apply a bit more pressure to get those really nice painterly textures into your drawings. Okay, so now I've drawn in my lily pads into that Impressionist paper scene. So as you can see, I've tried to blend in my drawings to the background, so trying to give it that aesthetic of being an Impressionist painting. So those very quick brush strokes with a lot of texture in them, focusing on the blending colour and layering colour over the top of each other. So that's one of my drawings, and now the next one will be my Monet inspired seascape. So for this one, I'm going to work more into the background image for this. So I do want to make it look like it is a seascape. So I'm going to draw in some more lines to create that ocean and leave the layer up the top to make it look like a sky, and working with the shapes and the colors that are already on the Impressionist paper. So now I've finished my Monet inspired seascape. You can see we've got our lily pads here as well. So this is a great activity if you want to explore art theory, but also include a practical component. And it's much easier for a student to work off something like a pattern piece of paper than it's always starting with a blank canvas. So that can really help them to get started and get creating something from the onset. And this is just a really nice one-off lesson, one-off activity, especially if you're leading into something more. So you could use this as a start off to exploring Impressionism, and then move on to some more really complex works where students create their own designs and their own unique artworks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.